What is up, YouTube? The wait is finally over. This is Alex from Team Generations, and today we're going to be taking a look at my Vairina deck profile for OverDress. This is the very first OverDress profile that we are doing on the channel, so I'm super excited to bring this to you guys. Now, we've been playtesting a bunch of these on like Tabletop Simulator and whatnot, but it's really just not the same as like when you have the cards in hand, when you're playing, just under like normal conditions. So I am super happy that we finally have this released in the US. I got lucky enough to pull a couple nice little rarities over here too, so just overall super excited. This is definitely my favorite deck. I really love Dragon Empire. Obviously, I've been an Arakami main for quite a while, so without further ado, let's hop right into the profile. I'm going to show you guys a couple different tech options, just some choices and like why I made them in the deck compared to some other deck lists that I've seen, and you know what is kind of similar and like figured out. So yeah, let's hop right into it. Alright, and before we begin, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to all you guys. Thank you guys so much for all the subs. I really cannot believe it. We're over 400 subs now. If you guys are enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like on the video, possibly subscribe to the channel. We have a ton more D-Series OverDress content coming out. If you guys are interested in picking up any of the cards that you see here today in this deck profile, we do actually have a TCG affiliate link down below, TCG player affiliate link. So if you guys are interested, you can use that, support the channel, absolutely no cost to you. Really appreciate it. But without further ado, let's hop right in. Alright, starting right off with the ride line, I'm going to go right into the grade 0 first. I am actually choosing to run the egg. I'll explain why people run the Trickstar a little bit later in the different section of this video. You'll see it tagged a little bit later. But I think that the discard cost that this deck kind of has inherently with Nirvana to recycle some of our Trickstars is just a little bit heavy. On top of that, we're kind of overdressing our units from hand, so we're calling a lot of cards from hand, running through our hand, and as a result, I think that the draw power that this egg gives us potentially on our, if we're going second, is just too much to pass up on. So I personally like the egg over Trickstar. Next up, we are running one of Blaze Maiden Rhino. So her skill auto when this unit is rode upon by Blaze Maiden Ryu, search your deck for up to one Trickstar, call it to rearguard circle, and shuffle your deck. Its continuous skill on Van or rearguard circle is during the battle that this unit attacked, this unit gets an additional 2k. Next up in our ride deck, we have the grade 2 from the start deck. This is going to be Blaze Maiden Ryu. So her skill, when this unit is rode upon by our Nirvana Dragon, we get to Soul Blast 1, search your deck for up to one Vairina, reveal it, and put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Its continuous skill on Van or Rearguard Circle, during the battle that it attacked, this unit gets an additional 2k. So this is actually going to just call the Trial deck Vairina, not the Vairina Arcs, so I know that kind of sucks, but overall, not too bad. Deck thinning is deck winning, and it still is an OverDress capable unit that it is calling, so not too bad. Alright, and to wrap it up, no surprises here. This is just the standard ride deck. This is going to be our, I'm not going to say the first part, Divine Dragon Nirvana, but its skill, act on Vanguard Circle once per turn, discard a card from your hand, choose a grade 0 from your drop, and call it to Rearguard Circle, so basically helping recycle those Trickstars. And then its second skill, auto on Vanguard Circle, when this unit attack, counterblast 1, and this unit and all of your units with the Overdress ability get an additional 10k until the end of turn. So this is a really powerful skill. I think the whole idea of this deck, before we continue on, is just like make magic numbers, make sure that those numbers hit. Like, this is numbers.deck. Like, everything in this deck just gets big. That's like the name of the game. I think that this skill really helps. So unboosted, if you are in the Persona ride state, you can get this guy to be 33k. You can get your Valientes, which we'll go over in a little bit, to be quite big numbers as well. I'll explain those when I go over that card, but that is the ride deck. Alright, moving right along to the rest of our grade 3s now, we are going to be looking at 3 of Nirvana, just the regular one. Again, we do want to be in the Persona ride state with this, so I think that, you know, just maxing this guy out is good. You don't want to cut down on those at all. Nothing really else to say about it. Again, that skill is great. Next up, we are running, really, this is the heart and the real boss unit, I guess, of the deck. This is going to be a Vairina Valiente, so kind of benefiting off that Overdress skill. Overdress in general is kind of like when you have a Trickstar or another unit with Overdress, you're basically riding those cards, or as we know it would be riding, but you're calling it over each other to go into an Overdress state. You're overdressing it, I guess, and you're getting benefits off of it. Vairina Valiente, for example, its skill continues on Rearguard Circle. This unit gets an additional 5k for each of the units with Overdress underneath it. And then its second skill, auto on Rearguard Circle once per turn. When the attack of this unit hits, we get to then counterblast 1, discard a card from our hand, and then we get to stand this unit. So like I said before with the egg, we have a lot of discard costs in this deck. I think that the egg just kind of benefits us in general with that initial draw, sets us ahead. We do run draw triggers in here, spoiler alert, but overall, you're really looking to make magic numbers to make sure that this guy hits so you can restand it. You need counterblast in this deck. I guess that's kind of like a weakness, but overall not too bad. Like, this guy is getting crazy powerful, so if you're not in the Persona Ride state, this guy will still be 33k typically. If you have a Trickstar with a grade 2 over it, and then on top this guy on top of that, then so that is going to be a 23k base plus the 10k from the Nirvana, which makes it 33k. So overall that's really nice. On top of that, if you are in the Persona Ride, if you did Persona Ride this turn, you are able to then make this 43k boosted, potentially 53k or a 51k. So really nice overall. I think this is just like an amazing unit, kind of combines so many of like the original like Dragon Empire kind of skills together. Kind of has that nice, I don't know, Narukami robotic kind of look to it. I can't really describe it, but I really like it. So yeah, and I like that the base ones too have that nice little border on it. If you can see that there, yep. All right, moving right along into our grade 2s, we are going to start off with the ones from the start deck. So still running 4 of the regular Vairinas. So its skill, obviously it has the, you can play this over Trickstar. It has that OverDress ability. Its second skill, auto on rearguard circle. When this unit is in the OverDress state and it attacks a Vanguard, this guy gets an additional 10k until the end of battle. Then we can Soul Blast 2. Choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. So I know the Soul Blast 2 is a little bit heavy, but there's not too much that uses it in this deck in general, aside from like the ride chain. I think that this helps with a little bit of spot removal, kind of gives you that Kagero Narukami feel. Not the greatest unit in the world. I definitely think the Vairina Arts is much better, but overall you can get this out and just kind of make sure that like you have a guaranteed unit to put the Valiente on with this card. So yep, running that at a 4 of. Moving right along to our next grade 2. So we are actually running, no surprise here, Vairina Arcs. So this guy's skill, on, it has the overdress ability as well, but when its unit is placed on rearguard circle in the overdress ability, in the overdress state, we get to counterblast 1, draw 2 cards, and this unit gets an additional 5k until the end of turn. So 5k helps. It helps you get over, like if they're on grade 3 or whatever, and you don't have a Valiente to put over this guy, you can still at least hit with it. The counterblast, in order to draw 2 cards, is absolutely huge in this deck. Like you need a lot of counterblast, but you need cards in hand to really make your turns just feel better in general, because we are expending a lot of things to just make sure that our deck can offensively roll out. So I think this card is amazing and definitely need this at a 4 of. Next up, we are actually running an order card here as our last grade 2. I was running this at a 4 of for a while, but this is going to be Burn Bright Pure Prayer. So you can tinker with this. You can up this if you want. I'll show you what you can cut a little bit later, but this is just such a necessary card. Like we're discarding a lot in this deck. We're just using cards from our hand, like I said. So to have a defensive card kind of built into an order with the Blitz order here, like you definitely need to be running this. I almost kind of want to bump it back to 4, but sometimes I found that I just like had not too many in my hand, but I just felt like I could have been using things for like an offensive push that would have benefited me a little bit more, but definitely not incorrect to run 4. This guy's skill is if your damage zone has 3 or more units, you get to choose one of your units and it gets 15k until the end of that battle. So just another trigger in hand, essentially. Like you're just defensively padding your deck, something that you desperately need to do in this deck. So running that at a 3 of right now, and again, can bump it to 4. I'll show you in a little bit what you can bump down. Moving on to our grade 1s now. So I am actually running this at a 2 of. This is kind of a hit or miss card in a way. I think that is good. It's really good when it is good, and it's just bad when it doesn't do anything, like when they don't allow it to do anything. But this guy's skill auto, this is Stealth Dragon Tensha Stead. So its skill auto on rearguard circle. When the attack that this boost hits, we get to counterblast 1 and retire this unit. Choose one of your Vanguards and search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name as that card. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck. So I think that the whole idea, like I said before, of this deck is to kind of have just like numbers. Like we really need to hit the numbers, and the Persona Ride really helps with that. It really helps put us over the edge. If you don't Persona Ride, I don't think in general that you're going to win. So in a way, this is kind of like a win more card, but in a way it's kind of necessary because you need to have that extra Vanguard in hand to re-ride, get into that Persona state. Make sure that your Valiente is just like impossible to guard almost, unless they have PGs or Overtrigger, whatever the case may be. So overall, I think that this card is needed, but not completely necessary. Like I see some lists that don't run that, but I think that this guy has definitely secured me the win in getting that Vairina sometimes. So overall, I like it. I'm sorry, not Vairina, the Nirvana. But overall, I'm running that at a 2 of. This next card over here, this is also like an offensive card. I'll explain in just a minute, but this is Extremist Dragon Velochizard. How do you say this? Velochizard? Balachazard? I don't know. Anyway, it's skill auto on rearguard circle. When this unit boosts, this unit gets an additional 2k until the end of turn. So I see people also running this a little bit more. I think as weeks go on, we see just like results with this kind of run a little bit more in the deck. But overall, I think that, like we said, we need to make sure that Valiente hits those magic numbers, and this guy boosting the Valiente is really big. Like, if you make it so that, you know, guarding a 43k is different than guarding a 53k. Like, and if you attack with your Nirvana first, you know, that's a 33k unboosted. Let's assume it's unboosted. You attack with a Valiente, that's a 43k if it's unboosted. It's not impossible to guard, and especially if they're holding PGs, you know, they'll PG that guy, you know, maybe guard out your Vanguard a little bit too. But this guy can help just inflate those numbers a whole extra 10k. So they have to either drop an extra trigger or another 2 units from their hand. Like, it's really, this just makes it hit those magic numbers in general. So I feel like this deck, this kind of is like the glue that makes the deck flow a little bit easier overall and just helps you hit those good numbers. So yeah, I'm running it at a 2 of. You can potentially bump this. You can either swap in, I'll say, you can run 3 of one of these guys if you want, and then put an extra one of this guy into the deck. If you want to run this at a 4 of, it's not really worth running either one of these at a 1 of at that point, in my opinion. I think at a 2 of, you see them often enough where it is effective. 1 of, if you run 1, you almost run none sometimes. So I just don't think it's effective enough. But yeah, I'm running 2-2 just for the variety in my deck. Moving right along to our last grade ones. Obviously, we are running the PGs. Just a heads up, like, this PG has been printed 3 times now. Once as a promo rare, like these guys are. Once in the set Genesis of the 5 Greats, in both holo and a regular printing. So you have, I feel like there's like just a lot of these out there. They are still kind of expensive, I know, but just make sure you're checking all the listings to make sure you get the best price for them. But Twin Buckler Dragon obviously is the PG. You can, if you have just 1 card in hand, you can discard this, unlike the trial deck one where you always need 2 cards in hand. But yeah, PG is PG, so it is good. We definitely need to run these. And then moving on to our very last regular unit in the deck, we are running 4 Trickstar. So I actually got lucky enough to pull a DSR. I don't plan on selling it, but yeah, I'm just super happy I got that. Trickstar is the whole point of this deck. This kind of starts us up. It's our starting engine. Really helps us in order to just, yeah, maintain those nice numbers with the Valiente. Like, you want to pop this down, ride a grade 2 on top of it, and then get the Valiente, and just go from there, really. Overall, searchable, the whole deck flows through it. You need 4 of these in your deck, in my opinion. I've seen some lists with 3 who don't even run them in the ride deck, but I think you need 4 of these guys at all times. Moving right along into the triggers, so no surprise here. We are, of course, running the Dragon Empire over trigger. We are running 8 crit, 3 draw, and 4 heal. So 8 crit there. Let me see if I can get those all in frame. Sorry about that. Let me see here. 3 draw. And 4 heal. Where am I going to put these? I guess right there, whatever, yeah. But overall, like I said, this is a deck that runs through its hand. It needs to draw with those draw triggers. Heal obviously heals. Crits, just because I feel like we benefit a little bit more from the crits. Like, you want to be swinging first with your Vanguard, getting that critical onto either itself or Vairina. Like, it doesn't really matter, but really the power is like where you want to put it on Vairina, because once Vairina hits, you know, you're going to restand it, and that is just... that's just huge, especially, I mean, if you rip an over trigger and you can get into hit with the Vairina, like you give that 100 million, you restand your Vanguard, give the 100 million to your Vairina. On top of that, you know, you obviously, unless they have a PG, they're not guarding that out. You're going to hit with that Vairina, restand it. Your Vanguard's already restand, so that's like 4 attacks between 2 units. So really great over trigger for this archetype overall. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching so far. Just stick around. We will be doing a test hand with this. I'll show you guys how the deck kind of plays out and just my idea of it in just a moment. Alright, let's shuffle up over here and talk about some pros and cons of the deck at the same time. I think this deck's strength is also, in a way, its weakness, in that I think that once your opponent starts to deal with Vairina Valiente and, I don't know, all of the different overdress units that you have, it really starts to whittle your supply and makes you kind of call from hand. And even though you can recycle it with the Nirvana grade 3 skill, I think that it still costs a discard from hand, so it's still, you know, just a little bit costly overall. Like, I think that's the main issue that we are dealing with in the deck. But aside from that, Vairina Valiente, while it's good, the potential restand, a lot of people The real allure of it is that a lot of people try blocking it unnecessarily. Like, sometimes you should be taking its hit, where people say, oh, I don't want to get hit twice, so therefore I'm going to guard, and they expend a little bit more from their hand than they need to, so in that regard, it's good. Otherwise, once you buff to like insane numbers and really pressure them twice towards the end of the game, that's where the real like zinger is. But okay, so we got a decent hand overall. Do we got a PG? You got one, what is this, a heal trigger in there, but we have these guys. I'm looking for another trick star potentially, since in my ride deck I obviously don't run that, so let's see if we can get another one from the deck before our grade 3 turn, so that way we can have like 2 kind of overdress columns going on at once. Alright, we're going to ride from our ride deck. Whoops, I'm just going to use the egg as my starter. I'm going to stand, and we're going to pretend we go first just to make it a little bit easier. Oh wow, of course we draw the over trigger. Oh, feels bad, man. But we do get another one of these guys back eventually, so I think I'm just going to toss him from the hand. I'm going to then ride the grade 1 over here. We do not draw for the ride because we are going first. Pass it over to our opponent. We'll take a damage. Oh no, so we got 2 out of deck already. We're going to stand and draw now for our turn. Alright, so we got some defensive cards in our hand. I think we're going to survive a little bit longer in this game, even though we don't have too many offensive cards. But yeah, let us ditch something. What do I need to ditch? I don't have 3 yet. Yeah, you know, I'm going to keep this to make the nice numbers later. I'm actually going to ditch that card because I need 3 damage to even use it. So our triggers right now are just more effective overall, 15k shields. Plus I get to hide the trigger ratios and whatnot from my opponent. We are then, what else are we going to do? Call out a trick star from our deck because we rode. There we go, let's put the trick star here. Okay. And I think we can overdress our Vairina Arcs unit. Let's do that. Let's go into it because we do have the counterblast over here. We're going to go there. We're going to counterblast once, gets an additional 5k, and I draw twice, 1 and 2. Nice. So we still do need that second trick star. So other than that, I think we're in a pretty decent state overall. I am going to call one of these down to hand though, from hand. I'm going to hold on to one maybe as discard fodder for next turn. But let's start it off. So this is going to be a 12k, gets an extra 2 when it swings. Let's drive check first. Boom. Let's put all effects there. Pretend we guard that. All right. This is 15, this is 25, 25 plus 10, 35. So this is, I feel like if you're trying to push early with this card, pretty good. It also helps you hit nice numbers towards the later part of the game too. That extra 10k is just, you know, it's either 2 cards out of hand or an additional critical trigger. So, I mean, just a trigger in general. So pretty good. I do like this card. I'm going to pass it over to our opponent then. Let's pretend we take 2 damage. 1, oh, we heal out, nice. And then 2. All right, cool. We are then going to stand and draw for our turn. Stand and draw. Oh, nice. We do get the trick star. All right, cool. So we'll have a pretty juiced turn. What do I want to ditch here? I don't want to ditch this because I do actually. Yeah, no, I don't want to because I don't have the Vairina Valiente in my hand actually. So this is a tough one here. I am actually going to ditch the critical trigger. Just because I want to have a little bit more power in my hand. So let's do that. Let's go ditching that. Going to ride into my Vanguard. And then let's go into a trick star here. Whoops, I'm sorry. We're going to also Soul Blast 1, and then search our deck for 1 Vairina, reveal it, and put it into our hand. Go. Vairina. So, I have a choice. I can go into that one. Yeah, you know what? I think I need card advantage here, so I'm going to go into the Vairina Arcs here, and you know, I don't know what my opponent kind of has on the field. It's up to you if you want to snipe something and retire it with this guy, maybe get a little more pressure in terms of the 10k. You can go for this. Otherwise, I just need a little bit more in my hand, I feel like, at this moment. I don't have a Persona Ride. I don't have a Valiente, so I'm going to go into the Arcs. I'm going to Counterblast 1 right here. I'm going to draw 2. And I'm going to, yep, give an additional +5. Alright, so we at least got a Persona Ride for next turn. And you don't need the Vairina Valiente to honestly win. Like, any overdress unit is fine. Even though that is really the big guy that does push. But anything else I want to do? You know what? Yeah, I actually want to put this behind him there. Alright, so I'm going to open up with this guy first. My Nirvana, I'm going to Counterblast 1, give my front row an extra 10k. This guy has an extra +5. This guy does not. Okay, no problem. So we are going to drive check 1 and 2. Alright, we got a critical trigger. Let's pretend they took that. We're going to crit. We'll give power over here. I guess just make this column even bigger. Let's do that. All right, so now we are going to swing here. This is just going to be 20K. I'm sorry, no, this is actually 30K. And then we are going to swing with, what is this? This is 10, 15, 25, 25 plus 10, 35 plus the extra 10 that I gave it is a 45K column, so not too bad overall, right? Did I do that math right? And 10 off of him, 5, so it's 25, 25, 35. Yeah, 45. Okay, cool. So yeah, pretty powerful, like I said. Let's just go one more turn and see if we do get that Vairina Valiente. I'm going to pass it over to our opponent then. We're going to take 1 damage crit. Nice, 2 damage. Let's start guarding from hand now. Let's go 1 here, 1 here. We'll do another one. All right, anything else? I'm going to hold on to these, just say that kind of took it. We'll take 1 more. Oh, of course. Oh my god. You know what? I'm gonna say I didn't take that. I'm just gonna draw into this just to show you for the demo just how I would kind of play this turn out. But let's stand and draw here. Alright, so now we are going to draw. Do get another one of those. Alright, no problem. So what do we want to do in general? We are going to first Persona Ride. Very nice. We are then going to, how many units? There's 2 under each. It doesn't really matter. Let's just bring him there. And anything else I want to do? Anything else I want to do? No, I don't think so. I think that's it, really. Okay, so let's go over here. So now this is, oh, I'm sorry. I also have to draw for the Persona Ride. So I'm going to swing right here. This is going to be a 23K attack. And now I'm going to boost it, making a 33K attack, 10K to the front row. I'm going to go 1. Gonna go 2. All right, 2 PG. So definitely gonna live out the next turn if we don't close out here. We are then going to let's swing here. Let's pepper him a little bit. This is 10K on top of that. This is 20. This is 30K. 30K. You're really looking for that 33K number. That's like the big deal, but didn't have another Vairina, unfortunately. So we are gonna swing now with this. So this is 10K. This is going to be 10K from the Persona Ride. Anything else? Right? It's 10K underneath. So that is 33K. We don't have a trigger. Right, what am I forgetting here? I feel like Persona Ride 10. This guy 10. Yes, 10, 20. This is 33. This is 43 by itself because we have 2 units underneath. 43 by itself. And then a 53 with this booster, making it a difficult thing to guard. We are then going to counterblast and restand him. Let's just ditch the 5K shield, that's fine. And now we are going to restand him again and boom, swing in for that 43K. And you can just see, like, this is kind of the pattern of it. Make your columns big, just pressure that hit, pepper their hand as much as you can with your sideboard unit. Obviously, there's different lines of play depending on what decks you have you're versing at the moment. But overall, that is the general idea of it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys do have any questions, let me know down below. Any suggestions, let me know how you guys are playing the deck. I'm definitely curious. You know, this isn't a completely 1000% solved, you know, end-all be-all deck, but I think the majority of the deck is pretty much solved. There is the tech options, really, that differ between different decks. But yeah, let me know what you're running. So thank you guys again so much. This is Alex from Team Generations, signing out.